Jesse Livermore is one of the most iconic and influential traders of all time. He's often cited as the main inspiration for a lot of professional traders. He's considered a pioneer of day trading. At one time, he was one of the richest people in the world. However, at the time of his suicide, he had liabilities greater than his assets. He was nicknamed the Boy Plunger after he successfully predicted the 1907 and 1929 market crashes, making huge amounts of wealth each time. In a time when accurate financial statements were rarely published, getting current stock quotes required a large operation, and market manipulation was rampant. Livermore used what is now known as technical analysis as the basis for his trades. His principles, including the effects of emotion on trading, continued to be studied. At the height of his trading career, he had made $100 million, which is the equivalent of about $1.4 billion in terms of today's money. Some of Livermore's trades, such as taking short positions before the 1906 San Francisco earthquake and just before the Wall Street crash of 1929, are legendary within investing circles. Some observers have regarded Livermore as the greatest trader who ever lived, but others have regarded his legacy as a cautionary tale about the risks of leverage to seek large gains rather than a strategy focused on smaller yet more consistent returns. The part biographical, part fictional book Reminiscences of a Stock Operator tells the story of Livermore's life. His life is truly an incredible story, having lost his entire wealth on more than one occasion and subsequently making it all back again. This is a story of the do's and do-nots for all traders. Jesse got his first job as a chalk boy for a brokerage firm called Payne Weber while he was still just 14. This was an ideal job for him because of his love of numbers. Prices would come through the ticker tape and be called out. While he was working at this job, he became so fascinated with the way that prices moved that he started keeping a little notebook. He kept this as his own hobby or project outside of his work as a chalk boy. By the age of 20, Livermore had accumulated his first $10,000. However, this was reduced massively by the age of 21 to $2,500. He says that if he stuck with this system, he would make more profits than losses, as his system would usually win around 70% of the time. At the age of 21, having been banned from most bucket shops in Boston, Jesse took his $2,500 and decided to move to New York to start trading legitimately at the New York Stock Exchange, but he lost his money again. Continue with trades that show you a profit and trades that show a loss, Jesse Livermore said. It seemed his winning formula was only designed for winning at bucket shops and not for the real stock exchange. He went to St. Louis to go back to betting at bucket shops and increase his money again. This was a new town for him with new bucket shops, so he thought they wouldn't know who he was. He managed to make enough money by doing this to go back to trading in New York. Livermore saw that one of his peers in the trading world, Percy Cotton King Thomas, failed to corner the cotton market and went broke. Livermore noticed the opportunity and quickly acted, buying 120,000 bales of cotton months after the Cotton King's bankruptcy. Of course, Livermore's aggressive buying pushed the price up, but not enough to entirely close his large position in the illiquid cotton market. Only enter a trade after the action of the market confirms your opinion and then enter promptly, Jesse Livermore said. Consequently, Jesse Livermore used a now illegal market manipulation tactic called painting the tape. Livermore made several large buy orders at the market close, knowing that the aggressiveness would carry over to further sessions, allowing him to liquidate his position at a profit. The next morning's New York World newspaper headline read, "July Cotton Cornered by Livermore." Of course, the market soared at the open, allowing Livermore to sell for a tidy profit. In 1908, he broke his own rule of not taking advice from other people. He trusted a tip from a famous cotton trader. The trader told Livermore to keep buying cotton, which Livermore did, against his own instincts. At the same time, this trader, as well as others, were actually selling in the market, leading to the price moving heavily against Livermore. As a result, he lost 90% of everything he had earned during the 1907 crash. It's not good to be too curious about all the reasons behind price movements, Jesse Livermore said. Throughout the following years, Livermore's losses grew deeper and deeper. He eventually built up a debt of $1 million and had to declare bankruptcy by 1915. Without a stake to begin trading again, he had to ask for some help. He was offered a trading facility of just 500 shares. Livermore knew he had to play this perfectly, so he spent 6 weeks just tape reading in the markets before finally making his move. The result was a success, and he finally had a stake to begin trading with again. Unsurprisingly, given the roller coaster ride that was Livermore's trading career, over the next couple of years, Livermore managed to earn his fortune back and pay off his debts. Newspapers from 1917 report headlines such as "Boy Plunger Scores Comeback in Operations on Wall Street," and the article spoke of the shrewd young speculator who made and lost millions in the stock market and then came back and made more millions. "Patterns repeat because human nature hasn't changed for thousands of years," Jesse Livermore said. Livermore began noticing certain patterns occurring in the market leading up to 1929. These were similar patterns to those he had observed in the build-up to the crash of 1907. Feeling confident about his hunch, he began opening short trades in anticipation. At one point, he was even living in his office just so he could keep placing trades in the lead up to what he expected to be a large negative movement. There's nothing new in Wall Street. There can be because speculation is as old as the hills. Whatever happens in the stock market today has happened before and will happen again, Jesse Livermore said. Of course, the boy plunger Livermore was correct, and he enjoyed the most successful periods of trading off his entire life. By the end of the crash, Livermore was worth the equivalent of around $1.4 billion in terms of today's money. After making it to extreme levels of wealth after the crash of 1929, Livermore started to lose that fortune rapidly. No one knows the true reasons why or how Livermore lost his fortune, as it has never been disclosed. There has only ever been speculation. During this time, things were extremely unsettled in Livermore's private life. He got divorced from his second wife, who also went on to shoot his son at a later point in time. Livermore had spent time in Vienna and met his third wife, Harriet Metz, whose last husband had committed suicide. Livermore's children didn't like to be around her, claiming that they felt darkness from her and knew she didn't want them around. In fact, they even went as far as to call her the bitch witch. Eventually, Livermore had to declare bankruptcy again for the third time. In 1934, he was also automatically suspended from being a member of the Chicago Trade Board. Although he was bankrupt, he still believed he could make a comeback, as he had done so many times before. Whenever I have had the patience to wait for the market to arrive at what I call a pivotal point before I started to trade, I have always made money in my operations, Jesse Livermore said. But after all the pressure and emotional strain of everything that had happened in his work and personal life, it was too much to take and he wasn't able to achieve it. Another contributing factor to not being able to start again on Wall Street was that he relied on his wife's money and got comfortable. He didn't have the same drive or passion that he had in his former days. On November 28, 1940, Livermore was found dead in the cloakroom of the Sherry Netherland Hotel in Manhattan, aged 63. What is your opinion about Legends of Trading Jesse Livermore? Let us know your opinion in the comment section below. This was all for today. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the bell icon for more updates and notifications. Stay safe, and we'll be back soon with another video.